Shadows of Orion City, Part 2. The neon glow of Orion City was far behind them, as the series, Cassian Vayne's aging starship, powered through the void. The ship's engines hummed steadily, but the atmosphere inside was tense. Elara Nix sat in the co-pilot's seat, her face pale and drawn. She clutched the data chip tightly, as though letting it go would doom her. Cassian glanced at her. "You're sure about what's on that chip?" "I've seen the experiments with my own eyes," Elara said. "Whole colonies wiped out. People used as resources. AstralCorp will do anything to keep it quiet." Cassian nodded grimly. He'd dealt with AstralCorp before. They didn't play games, and they didn't leave loose ends. "Then we'd better get this to someone who can actually use it," he said. "And who would that be?" Elara asked. "No one's untouchable. AstralCorp owns half the galaxy." "There's a contact on Enceladus Prime," Cassian said. "If anyone can make noise with this, it's her." The journey to Enceladus Prime took 3 standard days. Cassian spent most of it tinkering with the ship's systems, ensuring they were ready for any pursuit. Elara kept to herself, poring over the files on the chip. She didn't speak much, but when she did, it was in short, clipped sentences. She was terrified, and Cassian couldn't blame her. On the second day, the ship's sensors picked up a shadow. Cassian frowned at the console. "We've got a tail," he said. Elara's head snapped up. "AstralCorp." "Probably," Cassian replied. "Fast ship. Too far out to identify, but they're matching our course." He adjusted the ship's trajectory, weaving through a dense asteroid field. The series groaned under the strain, but the shadow didn't falter. "Whoever they were good." "We're not shaking them," Cassian said. "Get ready for a fight." The enemy ship caught up with them just as they exited the asteroid field. It was sleek and black, its hull adorned with the unmistakable AstralCorp insignia. Warning lights flashed across the series cockpit as the comms crackled to life. "Detective Vayne," a cold voice said. "Surrender the girl and the data. You'll be spared." "Spared," Cassian muttered, activating the ship's weapons. "Yeah, I've heard that one before." He opened fire, and the series shuddered as its plasma cannons unleashed a volley. The enemy ship dodged with precision, returning fire. The cockpit shook violently, and sparks flew from a console. "Shields down to 60%, Elara reported, gripping the edge of her seat. "Hold on," Cassian said, pulling the ship into a tight barrel roll. The maneuver brought them behind the enemy ship, and he fired again. This time, the shots connected, damaging their engines. "We're not out of this yet," Cassian said as the enemy ship turned to face them again. Suddenly, Elara shouted, "There!" "That debris field." Cassian saw it a field of shattered ships and ancient wreckage. "Good idea," he said, steering the series toward the chaos. "Let's see if they're as brave as they look." The series weaved through the debris, dodging broken hulls and jagged metal. The enemy ship followed, its movements precise but slower. Cassian smirked. "They're good, but not good enough," he said, flipping a switch on the console. A decoy drone launched from the series, broadcasting the ship's signal. The enemy ship chased it, giving Cassian time to position the series behind a massive wreck. When the enemy ship came into view again, he fired everything he had. The enemy ship exploded in a brilliant flash, the shockwave rattling the series. Elara slumped back in her seat, breathing heavily. That was too close. "It's not over," Cassian said, his tone grim. "AstralCorp doesn't send just one team." When they finally reached Enceladus Prime, they docked in a hidden port far from the main city. Cassian's contact, A woman named Vayne was waiting in a dimly lit cantina. She was tall and lean, with sharp eyes that missed nothing. "Vayne," she said, her voice low and smooth. "I heard you were bringing me something interesting." Cassian handed her the data chip. "This could expose AstralCorp for what they really are. But it's going to put a target on your back." Soraya smirked. "I live with targets. Let me worry about that." Elara stepped forward. "This isn't just about exposing them. We have to stop them, one thing at a time," Soraya said. She slipped the chip into a small device, and her expression darkened as she scanned its contents. "You weren't exaggerating. This is bad." Before they could say more, the cantina's lights flickered. Cassian's hand went to his weapon. "We've been followed," he said. The door burst open, and heavily armed AstralCorp operatives flooded in. Soraya cursed, pulling a weapon from her coat. "Looks like you brought the party," she said. Cassian grinned. "Let's give them a warm welcome." As the cantina erupted into chaos, Cassian knew this was only the beginning. The fight for survival had just started, and the secrets on that chip were worth more than any of their lives. But if they could make it out, they might just have a chance to take down AstralCorp for good.